welcome back to another episode of Plants by Jasmine. I'm Jasmine, and I am a regular plant mom, but I'm actually journeying to become a plant collector. So today we're actually here back in Denver, Colorado at Overgrown Home, and we're going to meet with Anna and Nathan just to learn a little bit more about their plant shop and what they have going on. So join me. How are you? Good. Are you?
Nathan. I'm Anna. Jasmine. Nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you. How are you doing? It's beautiful in here.
Thank you so much.
So I was doing a little bit of research. I saw that you guys had a big drop yesterday, which was super fun. So I'm excited to see what you have.
Right.
And then I was also seeing that you guys started your shop in 2020. Tell us about that.
I know, right? So I had a corporate job. My partner was just starting to interview when everything went crazy, obviously. And so we kind of regrouped. I was a lawyer and I hated it. I was like, wow, I did it for a little while and I was like, this does not mesh well with my soul. My therapist is like, what percentage of you wants to do this in the future? Where do you see yourself? And I was like, not here. So we were big collectors and hobbyists, and we were just like, we really love plants. That's what's bringing us joy right now. And so we just leaned into it. At the time, we were having trouble finding the plants that we were really looking for in the local market. In 2020, it was wild times for the collector plants, and it still is, but things have changed a lot over the last 4 or 5 years. And so at that time, it was like we went to someone's house and picked up a one-leaf cutting of a plant, and you'd be driving to suburbs on the other side of town and doing weird Craigslist-style transactions in parking lots and the Wild West, and you still were having trouble finding what you wanted, or once you got it, you couldn't ask any questions or anything like that. And so we really, first off, wanted the plants for ourselves, and then two, let's give the plants to our community. We want to help make them more accessible and make it possible for everyone to have them. And so we started importing. We got a greenhouse tent and converted our second bedroom into a grow room, and then soon our dining room was a grow room. My home office was a grow room. It just slowly got out of hand. It was COVID. We were doing our little pandemic walks around the neighborhood. We used to live just around the corner, and we walked by this spot and we're like, ooh, that's interesting. What if we went that direction? And here we've been ever since. So
is that where you got the name Overgrown Home?
Honestly, I had it. I wish, but no, I had the idea while I was sitting at my lawyer desk. I was doing a training and been paying more attention, but I was doodling logos on my desk. I was like, so no, we might have come up with it at a different time, but it was way before we had the plants in the house in a crazy fashion, while it was still in early inception. So, but it's been a lot of fun. Now it's super appropriate. And since then, we've moved from our 2-bedroom into a studio apartment, and we truly live the Overgrown Home lifestyle. Plants out the wazoo, and now we do that here as well. It's been fun evolving and filling the space, and this is the fullest it's ever been for sure. This last shipment was our biggest ever, and so it's been fun growing and evolving and bringing in more and more plants to share with more and more people. So.
I walked in, I was like, yes, it feels like a jungle in here. It's amazing.
You can just feel the energy. So yes, lots of fun new friends, and then the collector ones are where we got our start, where our passions lie, and then it more evolved into just the average houseplants that are good for every person. So it's fun doing both, and I have a passion for interiors and design as well, and so doing that kind of thing as well as the collector houseplants has just been heavenly on mine.
Do you thrift?
I thrift. We actually started out selling vintage housewares as well. So it's really funny that you asked that question. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, I think it was only for the first year, I was going to estate sales and we were selling vintage baskets. And for a while I was like, I'm only selling vintage things. And I was like, okay, no, I have to sell just pots. We need to get them just mass produced. We need to sell more things. We need to find, and we started selling locally crafted pots as well first. I was like, no, either thrifted or locally made. And then I was like, no, we still cater to that. Not the thrifting, unfortunately, just because the timing was so much. It's more now back to a personal passion rather than a professional one, which is good to have those divides. I do love to thrift. Yes.
That's super fun. It's definitely trying to begin this journey of plant collecting. I've realized the importance of the interior design part of it and curating a space, right? Because you have to with plants, because it's you got that dark corner, you might need a grow light, and then you got to make it cute. So.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's a lot of strategy and growing with your space over time and growing with what you can grow. And so we do interior consultations where I'll go into someone's home and do a walkthrough and take photos and then make mock-ups where you can really envision. We do a lot of these big dragon trees as installation plants and things like that. So it's really fun to really envision what a space can be and thinking toward the future, how the plant's going to grow and all of that. So it's fun to plant other people's spaces. I feel like we have less freedom in our own once we've collected so many plants. Now I'm really just seeing what I can make work, whereas working with a clean slate is really a fun and an exciting exercise. We do them primarily in the neighborhood here. We'll go in, those are geared towards, usually we're doing a few trees or a few rooms in the house, renting a whole U-Haul and the whole 9 yards. So that's a lot of fun and a really fun way to flex that creative energy in a different way. And I've taught myself graphic design over the years, so I do my little Photoshop mock-ups and all that stuff. So it's been fun to get those different skills as well.
That is so cool. Is there a section here that you have your like collector plants, or where do you keep those, or are they in the back?
Yeah, so it's a mix. We used to have the space split very differently, actually. You can see we have this kind of fake wall situation. We actually have that. It's like 4 feet deep and like shelves, grow lights, dense plants. So we used to keep them all back there, and then we'd bring them out jewelry store style is what we called it. We'd bring them out on a tray. We used to have a couch in here, believe it or not.
Yeah, I did see that.
Back in the old days, it feels like 3 eras ago. So we used to do it more of that style, but now we have a lot more out and about, and then we also do bring them out of the back. We have that TV there that has our exhaustive list of everything that we have in the shop, and like probably 60% of those are out here on the floor and 40% are still in the back where we bring them out. Still that kind of jewelry store style, if you will, for folks to see. But we've been working on bringing things down in price, making things more bite size, and so we've been able to bring a lot more stuff just kind of out to the front.
Where's your section at?
Yeah, so this shelf and then this podium and then this little cabinet over here are going to be the rare plant hot.
Let's go see the cabinet.
I like protection on all the time, so I forget sometimes. I know one customer one time did his eyes. I'm so sorry. I'm just always safetied up. Yeah, the nose too. They'll get you. Hazards of the job. Exactly. Yeah, gotta be prepared.
That is hilarious.
I love your earrings, by the way.
Thank
I've been staring at them. They're so. Oh, they're clay. Fun. Did you make them or?
No, I wish. Actually, Frank got them from some local artist. She didn't tell me who, but they're beautiful.
Yes, close up.
Well, great. So these are beautiful.
Right. Lots of fun.
I've seen this. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, Worskiewicz and this one's the Worskiewicz Aurea variegated. So sometimes you'll see the plain green form. Oftentimes you'll see just the lime green one, and we'll even see that in big box stores occasionally here and there. But this variegated version is super fun. So we really love that guy. It's a really special one. And then the ones here, this lower shelf, are all ones that we've propagated in-house, and same with this top row up here. So we've really had a lot of fun in the last year or so. We've really been leaning into propagating more and just taking advantage of maximizing our space and making more little babies available for this.
Oh my gosh, this is the Florida? No.
A Yopii, right? And then a Veitchii here. Restocking this morning. Don't mind the yellow leaf, but
that's me all the time.
Yeah.
Don't mind that one.
It just happens. You can't avoid it. Even the happiest plant's gonna lose a leaf here and there.
Come on now, it's winter time too, so they're trying to shed, get ready
for spring. Oh my goodness.
I feel that deeply. No, that's awesome. So, what is your favorite plant ever? I know it changes, but
I know it's a hard one. I think like my tried and true favorite is honestly like the philodendron micans. It's just like a classic. I know it's not the most exciting, but it's super dynamic. It's accessible. I think that anyone can take care of one.
And they have those like velvety leaves, right?
So they're super fun. They've got just that velvety texture, and then they've got these red undersides too,
so
just
pretty.
to die for. So, and in the morning light, they'll glitter. They're truly just iridescent. They'll trail over time, and they're also good communicators. They'll curl like this once they start to get thirsty, and then it'll spread throughout the plant. Like, hey,
somebody help me.
Exactly. So I love a good communicator. That texture is what gets me the most. Okay. I really love Monstera Peru as well. I feel like these are underrated.
They're beautiful.
Right. They used to be a lot harder to find.
What did you say that was again?
Monstera Peru. Yeah. And they're
that.
a tricky one. They technically haven't really been classified. If you get down the rabbit hole, it's a whole mess. But colloquially, Monstera Peru is what we know and love and call it by. Right, taxonomy is like a whole hot mess. A lot of, if we go to Monstera Adansonii, that's a big bucket. That's a whole world. There's a whole bunch of different ones that all get lumped in together.
I was trying to do some research on the Hoya cultivars, and I was like, I'm getting so confused. Right. I don't know what's happening right now.
Hoyas are, a whole rabbit hole.
Oh my god.
So much fun. Hoyas too, the last,
please.
They've just been, not victim, I was going to get dramatic, but they've just been moved around a lot in the last few years. There were The macrophylla's were moved back into the latifolia family, for example, and they're just always shift. They're like, no, this guy goes back over here with this one, and so it's hard to keep up. I think everybody is like a little confused at this point.
We're just here for it.
Yeah, just along for the ride. Here to look at the plants.
Pretty.
They're not changing. It's just their names. So
do you have a Hoya section?
they're gonna be that way. Hoyas are so much fun.
They are.
Like all of the different families and genuses have their own fan followings, if you will, but I love Hoyas. I love Hoya people. I think there's this really great energy around them because there are so many different ones. There's so many niches. You can fall in love with splash, which is like these little air pockets under the leaves that turn purple and more light, or you can really love variegation, the colors on the leaves, different leaf shapes. Like this is like the mermaid Hoya or Polynura. Those are super fun too.
This guy is
right.
So cool.
Jurassic Park style. I'm obsessed with this guy's newest leaf stuff. Stunning. So super great. I love Hoyas. These are all Hoyas up here as well.
Is this considered, what is this?
That one is a Hoya. That's a Hoya linearis.
Linearis.
So it's a fun one. They're annoyingly elusive. They used to be more easy to find, and then they just dried up for the last few years. And I've been like, this is the first time we've had them since probably 2023, I would say at least.
Intriguing. Do we know why?
I don't know if the growers just didn't put them in production, or if they're not that tricky. But maybe like a batch went wrong and they were like, no, we're not doing these for a little while. You never know.
I've been jaded.
In Florida. Yeah, exactly. It's really tricky because down there, like, you'll see there was, I think 2 years ago, all of the Norfolk pines in like a 10-inch pot failed. There were just, the whole crop just, well, with one grower, I guess, who was growing most of them. I'm sure there was some somewhere in Florida, but one grower having something bad happen can really affect the whole market. And so you never know what happened if someone had a bad experience with linearis and told their grower friends and they're like, oh, so-and-so had a bad, I'm not going to grow those for a few years. This is all wild conjecture. None of this is based in any facts, but you just never know. There's a lot of interesting dynamics at play when it comes to plants.
Tea, I love it.
It is. I wanted to submit the plant industry for a Bravo casting call. I was like, this would make great television.
That's hilarious. I've recently collected several Hoyas. Do you have any advice for our Hoya pals?
Right? Hoya heads. We really recommend with Hoyas, they're succulents technically. So taking that in mind with your care is just really helpful. We want to be getting that good light, but primarily we want to let them dry out really thoroughly. If there's moisture hanging out in the pot, they're going to want to chill. Wait until they're completely dry to give them a watering. They don't necessarily want to sit dry for super long, so that's kind of tricky. We do want to just wait until they're just barely dry and then water them, but sometimes if they get to the point where they'll start showing wrinkles and things when they start to get really dry, if it gets to that point, it's not ideal, but generally other than that, it's better to wait to water than to water them too soon.
Do you see that the same with the Acronii that have the thinner leaves? Same thing.
They still want to at least just fully barely dry out. And even I would say they're formerly Macrophylla, now Latifolia alba, that we touched on earlier. Those also, they're one of the more finicky Hoyas. They maybe don't like much of a drought period, but I still find the best success with them just barely kissing dry. And also that goes for our climate here in Colorado. With our air being so dry, it does funky things to different plants. So I know different states, there's obviously different climates provide different rules. And even in Colorado, you can get away with a lot of different styles, but that's how I found the most success.
So we're from Arkansas, and I noticed my monsteras did really well there because it's a little more humid. And then here I'm like, oh, let me get some humidifiers.
I know.
In this space.
Adjustment period. No, it's tricky. And plants take a long time to acclimate. Sometimes it can take 2 or 3 growing seasons for them to really understand, oh no, I'm in Colorado now.
This is a new space.
The sun is intense, there's less humidity, let's figure it out. So it's a learning curve for sure.
Well, I think I'm looking for a philodendron. Can you point me in the right direction?
So I've got some fun upright philodendrons on this shelf here. There's some more funky ones on the bottom as well. And then that's where a lot of them are going to be on my collector, as well as trailing philodendrons. Sorry, I've just got a lot of philodendrons. I love trailing philodendrons are going to be on the right half of the shelf next to where that Micans was. But so a couple fun ones. We just got this Mayoi in. This is one that used to be a little harder to find. So the cuts in the leaf will get more deep over time. Really fun fenestrations. Not quite like a Deliciosa, but similar energy, you know? So that's a really fun one. They're nice and easy going too. We also just got in these white wizards. So these are really fun. They've got that variegation. So those are super fun as well. And $25 for both, which is a fun new low price point. We're excited. Let's see. So there's fun allocuses here. It might have been the Cuprea there.
It literally was right behind me.
Awesome. And then in terms there were the Bromoxes. that I posted as well.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Right. I love these. Wow. These are a good dupe for the variegated billy. The leaves can get very long over time. This one's a little cleaner. I love that variegation. So
these are also so cute.
Ooh, that could have been one as well. The melanose just came in as well. So those are super lovely. Here's the larger. The leaves get like as big as us in the wild.
Like climbers.
Yes.
Definitely.
They do want to climb. Otherwise they'll get leggy and the leaves will get smaller, which is
like
fun.
pothos.
Exactly. Right. They all just want to be climbing a tree in the rainforest.
Same, honestly. Let me
the dream.
around
Exactly. Just stick me against the dream. So lots of fun there. We do have some fun variegated melanos as well. We just started propagating those, getting them at a lower price point, which I'm super stoked about. So
cool.
But otherwise, I'll let you loose over here. The trailing philodendrons are really fun as well. So
a few that I'm considering is this philodendron melicrysum. But anyway, she's cute. So I'm considering her, taking her home. But then also, I know that I said that I would wait to take an alocasia home, but look, girl, I have decisions to make. All right, team, we have made a decision. We are gonna go with the alocasia cuprea. I understand that I told myself I would wait till fall, but how can you say no to this? Come on, cool. Made this claim that I was gonna wait to get an alocasia until the fall, but after seeing this, I was like, how?
I know, the glitter, the pink.
I know. So this will be my first alocasia I've ever gotten.
Okay, cool.
Can you tell me all the care tips, the soil, the light, etc.?
Absolutely. It likes humidity. It's going to have a better time in a more humid environment, but it's still doable here in Colorado. We just want to be more mindful of the humidity. If we can, it sounds like you already have some humidifiers going, so that's always helpful. And then in terms of watering, they like to just barely dry out in between waterings.
Kind of a Hoya.
Not quite.
Okay.
They like more moisture, but it's hard. With our climate, most things, like general advice, is we let it dry out all the way. So it's hard, but there's a bit of nuance there. So this one in your home too, things change a little bit. So if you notice, if it gets halfway dry through the pot and our leaves are starting to kind of sag downwards like this, that's it being ready for that good watering. So generally we like to let it dry out just barely, but you might notice in your home, if you have it in a lot of light, it might want more frequent waterings over time. With the soil, they do like a more moisture kind of retaining soil. So right now it's in the soil it was grown in Florida, so good for Florida, not always the best for Colorado, unfortunately. However, I don't dislike the soil that much. It retains a good amount of moisture. It'll be good. I'd recommend leaving it in there for a good year or so if you can. Otherwise, we do offer complimentary repotting. So if you do find a pot you like that has a drainage hole, we're happy to repot it into there in our house aeroid blend. Right. So that's always fun. In terms of soil, it really is just going to affect your watering schedule. So you'll just let this soil hold on to a lot of moisture. So we do want to let it get pretty thoroughly dry before we hit it with another watering.
As far as light goes, no grow light.
Grow light would be great, or right next to a window that is not a western window. We don't want too much of our western sun is just like intense.
It's a good thing I got east facing windows, so it's perfect.
East window would be great, or if you want to put it under a grow light, it can really get pretty close to a grow light and be pretty happy. You'll see it grow a little more quickly. You'll get more of that kind of pink glitter action.
Makes me think of Edward's Skin of a Killer.
And they're really fun. Their leaves really change over time. You can see this one is more pinkish, and the newest one even more so, and then they'll fade off into the blackish greenish. So alocasias, they are a little more finicky. You'll also see typically gaining a leaf, losing a leaf is a very common cycle. So it's very normal. We have our lower ones are already on their way out. That's very normal. But don't panic. It's natural.
So I can just chat you and be like, girl, I lost another one.
Yep. And send us a DM if you have any questions. Cool. We're always happy to chat about this guy or any other plants as well. So send us photos. We're always happy to support Planned Parenthood.
Yay. Thanks, Anna. Yes. I appreciate that.
One more note on alocasias is that they do grow from rhizomes. So if something happens, we miss a watering by a little too long and it loses all the chop the leaves back, and that bottom portion can come back to life. Cool. You'll also see, they're called corms. You'll also see corms come up in the soil with little babies that'll start over time. You can separate those as well if you like. Any plant questions over Instagram, we can annotate photos and send novels. We're always happy to support.
We're here at the Overgrown Home with Anna. We're gonna drop all of our information down in the description below, but if you're ever in the Highlands or Berkeley area of Denver, please come and check it out. They're amazing.